Fuck, that was cold. Look at my knees, they're blue. Oh, man, that was cold. What a way to start the day. Ay, ay, ay. Let's do it again. Okay, so I just got back from avanto, which means in Finnish ice swimming, except there weren't any ice. So I just got back from swimming in a damn cold ocean. And that's the subject of today's video. We're going to be discussing why I do it, why you could consider doing it, and of course use your own caution here and think through. This is a pretty extreme thing to do. We're going to be discussing the pros and cons of doing this, and finally on how you also can get into this, how I did it. So make sure you stick around till the end. And yeah, let's do this. Remember to nuke the like button. This is an epic video. Alright, so first we're gonna discuss why I do it. What's the point of all of this? Well, let me take you back when I was a kid. I used to love the summers and hated the winters. Well, I still do hate the winters, but I wanted to use the advantage of actually being in Finland, and that is long, cold and dark winters. So it was back in 2016 when I saw the Iceman Wim Hof swimming under the ice in the ocean, and I realized that damn, that's looks like a fun challenge. So it sort of started off as a joke where I wanted to challenge myself going out of my comfort zone, but I pretty quickly realized that hey, this is also making me push myself out of my comfort zone, feeling more comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. But I also realized that hey, this is getting rid of my headaches, I feel better, and I was also in a pretty stressful job in the financial industry, and it felt like I can't ever get sick even though I'm stressed a lot of the time. And that was quite a profound thing for me. And then I started thinking that is this just placebo, am I just feeling great, or is there actually something else to this? And now that I think about it, it's actually been 4 years that I've been doing this almost every morning, 30 seconds of cold showering, and also swimming in the ocean, doing some extreme things. And yeah, while it's a fun thing, it's still some cool stuff that also maybe is going on in the body, which we are gonna discuss here next. Now, these videos take a lot of time to make, so all I ask you to do, if you enjoy these videos, to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, let us know in the comment section if you already enjoy cold swimming, and recommend this to a friend if you found this video useful, as this will help us boost the videos on the YouTube. The YouTube algorithm will recognize this channel and we will actually grow this channel. So let's discuss the pros of doing cold exposure and what does actually happen in your body. So there's one scientist named Gert Buche, and I probably didn't get his name right, and he and his colleagues did a really large study with over 3,000 participants, and what they did was that they put the participants into groups of doing cold showers in the morning before work. So they did between 30 to 90 seconds, and then they had a control group that didn't do any cold exposure at all and instead just took normal showers in the morning. All in all, this study lasted 90 days, and main takeaways from this study are quite astonishing. And while the group that did cold showering didn't become less sick compared to the group that didn't do any cold exposure. There was a clear sign that something's going on here, as the people that did cold showering were 30% less absent from work compared to the group that didn't do any cold showering at all. Now, of course, an important question here is this just placebo? Are these folks just feeling more energetic and they are just feeling like, hey, I can still manage and I'm just more positive and just going to work? Or is there actually something else going on here? What's going on inside the body? Now, while we can't rule out the effects of placebo for sure here, I think it's essential to listen to the folks that are smarter than me, and the scientists in this study state that while we don't know the exact mechanisms that's going on in the immune system, something that's clear is that when you jump into cold water, you start to shiver, and this is through an autonomous response, and also you get into the fight and flight, as of course this is an extreme shock, and this will then make the cortisol levels rise. But afterwards, when you get out of the water, you're sort of getting through the stress into a really calm state, into sort of a Zen moment. So whether or not this is placebo, I don't know, but one thing is for sure, that when I feel great about something, and I've been doing it for, I realize that it's 4 years now, I'm not gonna wait for more science to come. I'm just gonna listen to my body and do cold exposure. And I don't do this all the time. This is one of the parts of the 80-20 rule, so I use this as recovery from just being stressed, and also to train my mind. There's a sort of a balance here, that am I doing this for being more out of my comfort zone, or am I doing this for recovery? And yeah, you need to find the balance here yourself, but still I will continue doing this. But there's still a small caveat here that I will discuss next here with you. Now, excluding the thing that, of course, this is extreme, you can get hypothermia from this. Don't do this at home, and you use your own caution. This is something that is not for the faint-hearted, no pun intended. We need to discuss that after training, strenuous exercise such as strength training, it's important to recognize that it's likely not to be something that you should be doing, that when you're lifting heavy, your body goes sort of into a repair and stress state. And then if you do cold showers and cold exposure prolonged, it's necessarily not something you want to do. So when you hear from fitness experts and enthusiasts that, hey, the best recovery tool from exercise is cold immersion, you need to take it with a grain of salt, as when you're lifting heavy, the best recovery tool isn't to use cold exposure, because, for instance, here's one study where they show that when you're doing exercise, you need protein afterwards to build the muscle. And what it's been shown in these studies, in recreational athletes, they are not as efficient with their protein synthesis, which is when the muscles are being built after the exercise, when they used prolonged cold exposure after the training session. And the precise point most of the time for training and building muscle is probably to actually build a muscle. So you probably should be reconsidering that, is that the appropriate time to use cold exposure. So finally, we have the bonus here on how I got into this and how you also can get into this. Remember, use your own caution, and also let us know in the comment section if you want to know the more advanced version of this. But anyways, let's stick to the basics here. And like I discussed in another video, make short-term challenges, for instance for 30 days, to make it into a long-term habit. And the easiest way, if there is any, because we hate the cold naturally, well, I think it's that you should be doing this again for 30 days, and you start with the first day in the morning, and you want to take 8 deep breaths in before, like, and when you get into the shower, you can either start with the cold directly, and otherwise start with the warm and then go into the cold, and do this for 30 seconds. And if you want to really do this, don't go back to any warm water. You need to finish this off with cold water. And that's the most efficient way of doing this. And for instance, you could be doing 15 days where you start with warm, then you go into the cold, and then 15 days where you do just the cold showering. Important to know here is that you shouldn't be fighting the moment. If you fight it more, it's going to be harder. You just need to accept it, go into the moment, and take deep breaths before and also during the showering. And use your own caution here again. Alright, so let's take the main takeaways from today's video, and we started off with discussing why you should be doing this. Well, one thing is that you could use this for training your mind, being more calm, and also there might be profound health effects for this. And we don't know yet, and my opinion is why wait for science? Let's just do this, and we still have some pretty nice early evidence regarding this. Use your own judgment. And the pros, of course, of doing this is that there seems to be, besides the effects on the mind, also precisely that you could also be less sick as you feel more energetic from this. And the negative side, beside that this is pretty extreme, is that don't use this after, for instance, resistance training or building muscle. And finally, we had the challenge of actually doing this yourself, how to get into it, and take 8 deep breaths and go into a cold shower of 30 seconds and do this for 30 days. Alright, so I'm still shivering of the thoughts of all this cold talk, and I'm thinking like, have I gone crazy with all this cold showering? No, I'm just kidding. I use this as a small part of the 80-20 rule, that is, focus on the stuff that actually matters. For me, it's exercise, proper nutrition and recovery, sleep, but then using these small tools that are damn efficient, like cold showering. And also then on the channel we discuss fitness, finance and entrepreneurship. So remember to smash the like button, nuke it, you know how to do it, just press it. Anyways, leave us a comment if you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. I think it was a fun one. Let's do more videos and grow the channel. Let's do this. This is an epic year coming up.